So let's move on to our first interpellator from the minority, Representative J.C. Abalos.
Magandang umaga po, Madam Chair and esteemed colleagues, as well as to the Dswd family led by Secretary Rex Gatchalian. I would like to take this opportunity po, Madam Chair, to express and manifest my support to the agency's proposed budget, particularly yung increase po natin sa Pantawid Pamilya Pilipino program na nagkaroon po ng 7% increase. So I would like to ask po the department, Madam Chair, kung sa ngayon, ilan na po ang total number ng 4P'S beneficiaries?
The current number is still at 4.4 million beneficiaries, Your Honor, Madam Chair.
For my next question po, Madam Chair, meron po tayong special provision sa ating NEP for year 2025 and kasama po dito ang ating arrears or yung unpaid nating grants noong 2023 and 2024. So as of today, Madam Chair, may I inquire what is the total deficit of unpaid cash grants for year 2023 and 2024?
Madam Chair, I'd like to thank Congressman Abalos for continuing to champion this ongoing concern. In the last congressional hearing, we are pleased to inform that the DBM has provided us 5 billion pesos to pay for all outstanding arrears for the 4P'S who were inadvertently delisted. Now, the reason why there is a special provision again is because we will not stop in trying to clean the list. Based on the last hearing, a couple of congressional representations still manifested that there are still constituents in their districts that may have inadvertently been delisted. Ito yung mga they appear in listahanan 1 but they disappeared in listahanan 2 and listahanan 3. So ang naging promise namin sa committee, Madam Chair, was no, not stop and try to look for another that 150,000 that seem to have disappeared either because the listahan and saturation wasn't done fully during the COVID years. So that provision may be used or may not be used depending on the outcome of the special assessment that we are doing. But we are only looking at the last 150,000 missing accounts, of which we believe a substantial part of it will be done by September. So it's a standby provision that we can use in the event another set of arrears come out.
Madam Chair, this is in relation to the funding request that the Dswd asked from the DBM. May I ask po, Madam Chair, our Dswd, if ano po yung latest update natin sa status ng funding and if the unpaid grants have been distributed to all the beneficiaries?
Madam Chair, we are pleased to inform the committee that based on the oversight hearing done for 4P'S, DBM has remitted a total of 5 billion pesos to us recently, of which the entire 5 billion pesos has been fully disbursed, cleaning up all our pending arrears for the prior years.
I'm so pleased to hear that po, Madam Chair, from our good secretary. For my next question po, the Dswd mentioned that we have 4.4 million beneficiaries. And on average, every year, household can receive up to 30,000. Now, if we multiply 30,000 to 4.4 million, that would give us a number of 132 billion. So my question is, would the proposed 114 billion budget for the program be sufficient considering this number po?
Madam Chair, from our experience, it can suffice because these are conditional cash transfers hinging on compliance. It's very rare that we see a 100% compliance rate. In fact, that was the bone of contention in prior congressional budget seasons because malaging may natitirang pera doon sa account. We forecast na sana makomply nila, pero alam natin, due to unforeseen circumstances, sometimes inadvertently they cannot comply. So from our experience, that will be suffice. And in fact, the budget allocation also includes a provision a special provision na in the event that new arrears come out because of the last round of special assessment, we can use it to pay for it. And we'll also include the first 1,000-day grant that the President mentioned during his State of the Nation address.
Madam Chair, may I inquire also kung ilan na po ang ratio, ang caseload ng ating city municipal links to 4P'S beneficiaries and ano po yung ideal ratio para dito?
The ideal ratio is always the lowest. But that's syempre thinking, Madam Chair, that we have so in this infinite funds. But we would take it at 1 to 200. But right now, the running ratio is 1 to 400. And as mentioned in the message, we're very thankful to DBM because they approved an additional contractual position of close to 5,000. That's 4,200. And then it's a year-on-year increase. So next year, we'll get another 4,000. And on the third year, we'll get another 4,000. So that means by the end of this exercise, we would have brought it down to 1 is to 200 or 1 is to 300.
Madam Chair, during my interpellation with NEDA, I inquired about their proposed increase, the 4P'S cash grants. Dito po yung para sa inflationary adjustments po natin. And according to the suggestion of our NEDA Secretary, the maximum cash grant a beneficiary could receive would increase from 2,850 to 3,550. To summarize po, ayon sa NEDA, yung daycare and elementary cash grant dadagdagan ng 50 pesos, tapos yung ibang cash grant dadagdagan ng mga 100 pesos each. And then magkakaroon pa tayo ng first 1,000 days na 350 pesos yung grant. My question is, nagkaroon po ba ng consensus regarding this proposed increase, and ano po ang posisyon ng DSWD sa suggested increase na ito ng cash grants, and ano po ang ating alternative recommendations kung meron man po?
Madam Chair, the concept of future-proofing, inflation-proofing the 4P's grants actually came emanated from the department. We would listen to our end users and yun sinasabi nila nagdi-diminish na. As we speak right now, I believe that the diminish is already at around 15 to 20% of the value of the grants. But what the President authorized us to work with the NEDA and to come up with a formula which looks at an adjustment every 2 years using the inflation on the bottom 30% of the per capita. So we accepted that. We acceded to that, but the agreement then was because we have to amend the law first to incorporate it in the 4P's law, it will take effect in the fiscal year of 2026. So sa 2025, Madam Chair, we will now phase in the first 1,000-day grant. And then, by 2026, we will do the first round of inflation proofing para mahabol lang at ma-restore yung nawalang value sa grants nila. After 2 years thereof, automatically, mag-a-adjust based on the bottom 30 inflationary effects.
Maraming salamat po. And Madam Chair, I would also like to manifest that the House of Representatives has a pending House bill sa Committee on Appropriations regarding the inflationary adjustment sa ating cash grant. So I would just like to request sana po from the DSWD kung meron pong updates or magkaroon po ng consensus kung ano po yung magandang price adjustments, i-furnish na lang po sa atin so we can make the necessary amendments. Now, for my next question po, Madam Chair, given the stated number of 4P's beneficiaries, in addition to the first 1,000 days grant, magkakaroon po tayo ng another set of conditions na kailangan i-monitor. Do you think po, Madam Chair, this is an additional workload for our city and municipal links that would require additional manpower?
As in always, the ideal number will always be the lowest ratio. We know that our people are overworked, and in the message we keep on saying that padagdag yung programs pero hindi commensurate yung pagdagdag ng tao. But we believe that this is not going to be that big of a challenge because it's a health center-based compliance also. What we're trying to do here is to encourage our pregnant and lactating women to register, to incentivize it, to develop that health-seeking behavior that they currently lack. Kasi if we look at the database of the 4P's right now, they only register 1 to 2 of their kids or hanggang 3. Pero when we do the actual validation sa mga tahanan nila, ang dami nilang bilang ng anak na hindi nire-register because sa kanila, the health grant is static, meaning what if they have 5 kids or 3 kids, hanggang 3 kids lang yung maximum. So this will now encourage them to look for those health-seeking behaviors. And one of the biggest problem natin, and we've been working with DOH on this, is stunting. A third of our children are stunted. It's one of the most stubborn problems of this country, kahit na anong gawin natin. And one of the things that we realize is nobody's tracking. Walang database ang bansa natin ng pregnant and lactating women. So the agreement there is maybe we should start with the most vulnerable, which are our 4P's beneficiaries. So that way we can come up with a tracking system. So it's more of getting our mothers to go to the health centers and register their birth and to keep on tracking them. And hopefully, if we pull the averages from these 4P's pregnant and lactating women, we can gradually lower the stunting rate nationally.